Am I live? I am. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. I want to share some thoughts real quick, but let me go live on TikTok for subscribers. And as always, if you want to join this channel as a member or TikTok as a subscriber, you get the ability to comment on the live streams, and I'll look at any crypto you want to look at. But this is mostly for trading journal perspective stuff. So, okay. Listen, guys, I just want to be upfront. I was expecting this. So we had the big Trump pump 90-day pause on the tariffs, and the total altcoin market cap rallied to a lower high. And if that's what's going to be the case, that we're not going to be putting in higher highs, I have no interest in buying altcoins right now. I have no interest in longing altcoins. There was a brief moment when I would have been interested, and that was the breakthrough of the downtrend. That's only step one. You know, we broke through the downtrend, but we've just continued to go lower and lower. This is the total altcoin market cap. So, you know, I did say this in my trading journal. Zero confidence of opening any longs on altcoins or buying spot. Will not be doing so until we see a higher high in the charts. So a higher high. You know, let's say we form a low here. Maybe we'll form a higher low and then put in a higher high. I'll be more interested, but not right now. This correction, this dump, is alarming to me in many regards. So let me go to Bitcoin real quick. For us to just ride those gains right back down. And you look at the VIX is right back up to 50. Okay, so there's that. It communicates to me a couple things. Hello, me. It communicates this is not over. And it also communicates my fears. If I were to describe 2024, I was a little bit hopeful, but a lot more fearful that, you know, if everyone else is right and 2025 is this big bull run, I will become a multi-millionaire. And so I was hoping for that, but not assuming that that was going to happen. And instead, like, the worst case scenario so far has played itself out in 2025, which is not stupid. I can't stand it when people blame this on Pump.Fun. It's not Pump.Fun's fault. I mean, Pump.Fun did not prevent the Russell 2000 from hitting a new all-time high. Okay, guys, think about that. I'm just going to say that again. Russell 2000 is more correlated with crypto than anything else. The Russell 2000 did not hit a new all-time high. So people blaming this on Pump.Fun. No. What you're trying to do is you're trying to save face, because you were promising everyone that 2025 was going to be this massive bull run. And, oh, you need an excuse now, and so you're blaming it on Pump.Fun. Unfollow anyone who says that. I'm dead serious. Okay, so longest yield curve inversion ever. Longest yield curve inversion ever. This is just it. This is the inevitable process of coming face to face with the fact that every time we have had a yield curve inversion, we have entered a recession. Every time. And so I said, you know, 0 to 12 months after the first rate cuts. Now, okay, are there scenarios where we could turn around and hit new all-time highs, whatever? Yeah, sure. You know, I see some compelling arguments for the, you know, regarding M2 money supply. There's some compelling arguments there. Now, I did make a short, or, you know, I also posted on TikTok talking about there's a compelling argument, but I'm not convinced. So, yeah. The VIX is just, it's a much more condensed fear and greed index. When you see the VIX anywhere above 20, that means people are really afraid. So if we were to go down, so in August, we went really high when Japan raised their rates and we had the carry trade fears. So we went really high, but then we came right back down. And so when we came right back down in the VIX, I was like, oh, great. Now's the time to buy. What a fantastic time to buy. And that was within a week, 2 weeks of the bottom where Bitcoin went under $50,000. Right now, we still have some things to work out. And it's like, guys, we're in a clear downtrend everywhere you look. So here's Bitcoin. Uh-oh, I did not mean to do that. Let me lock that fib chart in there. All right, it's locked. Here's Bitcoin, just clear downtrend. Let me pull it up on the USD chart. You know, we just keep on getting rejected at this trend line here. The green line. Sorry, there's so many scribbles on my chart. We just keep on getting rejected there. So I would like to see us break through there. And I have more hope for Bitcoin than I do the rest of crypto. Only crypto not already in a bear market is Bitcoin. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, you could say downtrend but not bear market if that's what you want to say. You know, if we don't go beyond 108, I would define this as we're in the bear market right now. But there's a little bit of hope, that we're going to hit a new all-time high. There's not zero hope, but I'm not entirely convinced. I'm sorry. So, you know, Bitcoin about to go crazy. Yeah, what do you mean by that, Mar? There's many ways it can go crazy. So what would have me more hopeful again? We need the S&P. Sorry for these terrible squiggles, but we need the S&P above the 200-day moving average. Crypto will follow the stock market. So here's an exciting, you know, the more exciting scenario: break through the downtrend, bounce off of the downtrend line, put in a higher high, get rejected the 200-day, you know, rebound, move back up above the 200-day, back test, double back test, and then shoot off. We see something like that, sure. But I'm thinking we're just making our way up to, we will make our way up to a lower high and then just keep going lower, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And it doesn't matter. You know, I know a lot of people, especially people in the other party, are taking opportunities right now to blame Trump for all of this. And again, you know, I've been calling for this since 2022. It didn't matter who was going to be president. I actually am on record saying that I thought Kamala was going to win. And so I was factoring all of this in with Kamala winning. If Kamala was president, maybe this wouldn't be as aggressive, but I'm convinced that the S&P 500 mid-February would have been the peak in the S&P and in NASDAQ. So watch my most recent video that I posted on YouTube, World War Bitcoin. And I am live on YouTube, so if any of you on TikTok want to actually watch the live stream, you can watch on YouTube. But there's ways to make money off of this. There's ways to profit off of this. You know, I'm in some shorts right now. My shorts got hit pretty hard yesterday, but I really did wonder if we were just going to come right back down. So I didn't close. I closed like a couple of them that I was afraid were going to get liquidated, even though I use low leverage. But I kept the rest of them open, and I even doubled down on some of them. So there's that. But then there's stocks. I bought some stocks. Some what's it called? Is it RH stock? Some ETFs. These are short-term plays. No, that's Robinhood. SH. Yeah, SH. Okay. SH ETF. I bought some of this. You know, it's inverse the S&P 500. There's also SQQQ. That's inverse the NASDAQ. And now you do not want to hold this long term. Absolutely not. On a long enough timeline, leverage, or this is not leverage, but you know, especially leverage ones, they'll just go to zero. They will not keep up with the rest of the market. But I bought some of this. I bought some SQQQ. I bought NVDD, which is an inverse NVIDIA. No, not dividend. And I'm very bearish on Meta. So I bought METD, Meta, inverse Meta. So I'm not here for 10x gains on these inverse ETFs. I'm here for short-term gains. We have some ways down to go still, in my opinion. I am still hopeful of being able to exit whatever crypto I'm still holding with Bitcoin in the 80s, ideally 88. But my mindset is 84, and I am sorry. I hope, I was bullish for a time, but this isn't tariffs. That's the thing. In your opinion, are we in a bear market right now? So, like I said, earlier comment, only crypto not already in a bear market is Bitcoin. You can make an argument that Bitcoin is still not in a bear market, but I mean, there's zero doubt that the altcoins are in a bear market. 98% of them. I mean, like, look at Total 2. Total 2 is almost back down to its 2024 bottom. And most of that's being propped up by the ISOs, which had a great run. But it's down how much percent from its peak? 40%, no, 50%, more than 50%, or almost 50%, excuse me, from its peak. So I really want to buy altcoins. I just, I bought some over a three week stretch, but I'm down on those. I've exited a little bit, and that was a tactical error on my part. I already did attribute that. I mentioned, Liberation Day as being a hopeful by the event thing. And then Trump introduced all those new tariffs, and we dumped really hard. Something's up right now. I don't understand why the VIX is pumping this aggressively right now. So I don't know if there's any news or anything in particular that's causing that to happen. But okay. So, and also to answer your question, 998, are we in a bear market? I would say, the fact that I'm still willing to long Bitcoin is kind of a mindset of like, maybe we're not, for Bitcoin, there's still some hope, but I'm not touching altcoins right now. I guess it depends on strategy though. Like now is a good time to buy alts still if you just want to hold long term. Certain alts, I'm with you on that. Other ones, I think they can go a lot lower than what you're thinking. Because, the chart right now looks very comparable in many ways. Just markets look very comparable to 2000, 2008. If it's 2000, have you considered that the possibility, at least, that the crypto bubble's bursting? I'm not willing to go entirely there because I think there's legit, like the blockchain froth for some blue chips is not as prevalent as I don't know how to explain this. Like there are certain cryptos that I really will be interested in buying no matter how low we go. But then there's other ones that I think, man, this can just straight up go to zero and never come back. So that's my big fears. I want to, my options would be limited. My goodness, Tron, what is, I mean, there's an above, VeChain would be one that I like VeChain. I like it long-term use case. I mean, Solana, I think Solana isn't going anywhere. As long as Solana is the go-to place for degen activity, then I'd be interested in buying Solana at discounted prices and weathering the storm, XRP for sure. I'm still a big bull on Pendle. Just need some things to play themselves out with Pendle. What else? I mean, obviously Bitcoin, Litecoin. Thank you for that follow, fake Coach JV. Dogecoin even. Dogecoin. I thought that during the FTX bear, not now. Too much bullish narrative around crypto generally, around regulation and everything. If crypto was going to die, it would have been then. I disagree with that, but we can agree to disagree. That's fine. Yeah. Because anyway, the cycle has been so tough. We had the 6 or 8 months of sideways and now 4 to 5 months of down. This has been a miserable cycle. Yeah. Why is that? You know, it's because of everything that I was afraid of when people were talking about 2025 being this massive bull run. The conditions, the monetary conditions are opposite of where they were in previous bull runs, which, you know, I'm a mega bull. I'm just a delayed bull. Okay. I'm a bear right now. Let me just call myself what I am. I am a bear, but I am a delayed bull. And when the time comes to strike, like my predictions for Bitcoin, I haven't really thought through them, but like it is absolute degen moon boy predictions. And certainly some of these altcoins will go along for the ride and we'll have a moment where it could be full blown alt season. And, you know, but I think what would happen first is that a lot of people will, over 90% of people will think that crypto is dead. And then the opportunities to take advantage of that, it's going to be massive. It's similar if people got over leveraged to Russell 2000 compared to S&P or NASDAQ for the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah, Russell's been rough. Russell didn't even hit a new all. I mean, it barely hit a new all time. It like did a double top. So, okay. Trading outlook. Just a reminder: zero confidence opening any longs on altcoins or buying spot. Will not be doing so until we see a higher high in the charts, and in particular, the total 2 altcoin market cap chart. I mean, Ethereum. Look, Ethereum pumped really hard yesterday, and then just round tripped. Even Ethereum, I was thinking maybe I'm stupid for not buying Ethereum at $1,500, but no, I'm not touching Ethereum right now. So I'm only willing to long Bitcoin, and then I'm eager to find opportunities to short other cryptos. So let's take a look at Aave. I do wonder, you know, we'll see. I'm looking at Bitcoin. Let me go to like, I don't know, 5-minute chart here. Is there swing pattern failure potential here? This might be like it might be a good opportunity to scalp Bitcoin right now. Just looking at Bitcoin and looking at the VIX. For long is what I'm saying. So looking at the Bitcoin, looking at Bitcoin, looking at the VIX, whatever that was, where the VIX got up to 54, maybe it's cooling off right now. And so I'm not going to do it because I'm live, but maybe I would if I wasn't live right now. We'll see. That would not be. I'm not calling bottom at all. So, okay, going to start out with Aave. Aave. My last comment on Aave was 134.28. SR flip could be resistance moving forward, but I did not open a short at 134.28. You saw with that pump yesterday, we exploded above it. But now, you know, this is probably resistance moving forward. 138 is probably resistance. All right. Thank you for that heart. Looking to short 134.28. When you say us having something similar to 2000 or 2008, are you also thinking that markets don't see an all-time high for 4+ years? So yeah, I have made comparisons to 2000 and 2008. Here's the difference right now, which would make me think that it wouldn't be that long before new all-time highs. And I am only limiting it to stocks. Is they introduced quantitative easing in 2008. We didn't know what quantitative easing was. We didn't know that should have been the signal to just be an all-in bull. 2000, it didn't exist. I would envision, after some pain, that as soon as they introduce quantitative easing, all right, yeah, we're on the same page then. So yeah, 2000, 2008 comparison, but quantitative easing. So, all right, this is for Aave. This is a level I'm looking to short, 134.28. I am in shorts right now. I do not have a similar long or similar a single long open. Yep, Dave. So let's look at Cardano. My last note was on April 8th. Seems likely to me that ADA will go down to 46 cents. If it got up to 67, I would see it would be heavy resistance. Didn't even get up to 67 yesterday. So now what? I mean, I still think, I think next stop is 46 cents. I wouldn't mind opening a short at 67, but I don't know. Will it get there? Okay, so it's at 60. I'm just going to write would confidently short at 67. Next we have Avalanche. $17.80. Huh. Interesting. So I'm not interested in longing Avalanche right now. But, it's definitely got double bottom potential here. And then it a lot of other cryptos have almost round tripped that pump from yesterday, and Avalanche hasn't done that. So, hey, you know what? I will give Avalanche the distinguished title of I'm not willing to short this. But I'm not willing to long it either. Just because I'm not willing to long anything. So you can see the Bollingers. This is a good one. It gets down to the bottom of the Bollingers, and that's a decent place to enter. So Dave, yeah, I'm not going to read your full comment, but my rebuttal to that is that's still pretty far off. And no, not the May Fed meeting. I'm convinced it's not the May Fed meeting. We need much lower rates. 70.4% chance, according to the FedWatch tool, that they're not going to lower rates. We need much lower rates than where we are right now for real QE. Not, there's balance sheet increasing QE, and then there's real QE. Real being like they announce it. All right, so here's what I'm typing out. Holding up better than a lot of other altcoins. Avalanche, if I was longing alts right now, this would be on the list. That's all I'll say. Bitcoin Cash. Oh no. Foregone. Seriously, give up on Uniswap. You need to throw in the towel. You should be looking to short Uniswap, not long it. I don't know why you're so obsessed with Uniswap. Why? You know, but all right, here we go. You want a long Uniswap, $4.64. That's all I'll give you. The bottom of the Bollinger Bands. And it can certainly go lower than that. I'd be looking to short Uniswap around $5.85. In fact, I'm probably going to set a limit order after this live stream. $5.85. I need to remember that. All right, back to Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash has unfortunately lost, man, that's end of 2023. And had a huge SR flip at the end of 2023. No, early 2024. So, all right, Dave, we'll see. So this looks like a loss of a more than 1 year support on Bitcoin Cash. This is a big reason. So like Bitcoin is still technically within the range. You know, I said I'll be a bull. I will remain neutral on Bitcoin between the 50-week moving average, which is around 76,000, that we don't have a weekly close below there, or I'll be bullish on Bitcoin. So if we lose that, I'll be bearish. If we cross 95,000, I'll be bullish, and then I'll be looking to be more interested in longing altcoins. But everything else has lost support. Everything. Bitcoin Cash was one of the strongest cryptos. It has lost support, a more than 1 year support. Solana has lost a more than 1 year support. XRP has lost a, 5-month support, something like that. So Bitcoin Cash, this is now resistance, 293. Even though we had that pump yesterday, I would say 293.98 is now resistance. XRP is back above. It's at 193. I mean, so what's support? You know, is it $2? $2 has always been on my head, but I don't know. Are these predictions all with the thought that we will not get any new news in the world economy? I just think we're going down. You know, that's the big thing from today that I would say, Forgone, just give me time to respond to you. I would say if so here's again, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this again. Charles H. Dow, he said this in the 1800s. I am absolutely convinced he's right. The trend is in violet. Not violet, the color. It can't be violated. There can be manipulation. So there's no amount of manipulation that can prevent us from going where we're going to go on a long enough timeline. There can be things that happen day to day that cause lots of fear. There's always manipulation, lots of fear or lots of greed, but we are going to go where we go. Whether or not, sorry, Forgone, you didn't ask the same question twice, my bad. So whether or not the tariffs are here, you know, or there's this insane tariff stuff, we're going to go where we're going to go. All right, Binance. My last note on Binance was bottom of the range. Might be worth loading up on. So there were two cryptocurrencies. There might have been more than that, but there were two that I liked yesterday or 2 days ago, last time I was live. One of them was BNB. And I mean, it's easy for me to look at the chart and be like, oh yeah, you should have bought BNB, while acknowledging like everything pumped yesterday. But, oh, you know what? Hey, here's a crypto. There's actually two cryptos other than Bitcoin that are still holding their ranges. Binance and Tron. But those both have something in common. They're both Asian cryptos. So, you know, Tron's holding a very long range. Binance, this is all one big range since the middle of 2024, March 2024. Does that mean I'm going to be loading up on BNB? Not quite. You know, you could say this is a downtrend for sure, but I would stick with just it's one long range. So okay, Bitcoin. My last note on Bitcoin was waiting for a move up to 84K. We got a little above 83K yesterday. Was that it? Was that all we're getting? I still think a move up to 84K. We have a CME futures gap there. But here's my mindset with Bitcoin. I want to see where Bitcoin dominance goes. You know, these arrows are a little too long, but and we've got a little wishy-washiness here. You know, if we see Bitcoin's dominance plummet on a move up to Bitcoin, it's game on. So, hey, there's some hope, right? Let's see Bitcoin's dominance come down. Right now, not super encouraging that yesterday, that's a 702 retrace. That's a key level. And we did not, we bounced right off of it. Wicked below earlier today, but you know, I'm not in love with that. If we're hoping to continue this run, if we lose the 702, then great. Let's go down. Let's have this be a false breakout. But if we're going to continue to go up, that's even more of a reason why I'm not interested in buying altcoins. Because like this move up in Bitcoin's dominance can be accompanied by a drop in Bitcoin's price. And so do the math, even more of a drop in altcoin prices. I don't see how that would happen without QE. Yeah. I mean, I don't care if the dominance goes higher, it'll crash hard. If you're talking about Bitcoin dominance, yeah, eventually it will. With QE, you know, there's this guy I follow on X. His name is Brett _ETH. He has some charts that like he's just a really good at painting pictures. He has like 15,000 followers. He's really good at painting pictures with communicating what he wants to communicate. And he just one time, you know, on a chart overlaid QE with crypto runs, and in particular Bitcoin, and just pointed out, and the total altcoin market cap, and just pointed out like altcoins thrive when there's QE, and they don't when there's not. So Bitcoin, I mean, like I said, maybe this is a bottom for today. Maybe. Let me look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour, man. Yeah, it's not something that I'd be confidently longing looking at the 4-hour chart. Stochastic is still it's still overbought. I'd wait for stochastic to come down. And then RSI, same deal. I mean, RSI is kind of middle of the range, but it's kind of, it's in a no-touch zone for me right now. If it were to get back down to 75 or so, I'd be a lot more interested in longing some Bitcoin. Maybe a higher low, but not this high of a low. You know, maybe something like, I don't know, something like this. Just who knows. So 77, 76, something like that. I'd be more interested. We'll see. All right, Doge. Such cryptocurrency, huh? Four-hour chart looks pretty good for Doge. Still not touching it. Just sticking to my rule. Daily doesn't look as good, but 4-hour. Oh, come on. Just stop it, Alex. Oh, you know what? I'm curious to see what happened with the ETFs yesterday. Oh, wow. They were net negative yesterday. Huh. That's really interesting. All right, back to Doge. So on the daily, you know, doesn't look amazing. You could do something like that. Gonna delete that though. But on the 4-hour, that looks pretty nice. Thank you, V. So anyway, what about I'm curious about any bullish divergences or bearish divergences. Nah, it's just following along. Sorry, I know I'm taking a long time on Doge. I'm just trying to make some sense of it. Yeah, volume's pretty weak still. All right, that's a reason to make me think that this is just not a sustainable move on the 4-hour. XCN pumped a little. Let me look up XCN. Yeah, what's up with XCN, man? It's just got a mind of its own. Oh, wow, yeah. Let me look at the daily. Oh, so what? Oh, my goodness. Look at that. I mean, what a insane chart. This thing's wild. I mean, how even is that? That's too, I don't know what to make of that. just how cleanly it went down. And then, you know, got to the 200-day and bounced pretty hard from that. It's just, for me, this is just, I don't want to mess with it at all. There's a chance, I guess, that we haven't given enough weight to the Bitcoin ETFs that I could push dominance up to 70%. And then we only dropped to 40, 50. Yeah, maybe. I think it, you know, maybe the thing that it depends on is if Bitcoin went parabolic, there would be some pretty heavy rotation, just people trying to, because like I have a number, this is my mindset with that. I have a number that I'd be willing to sell some Bitcoin at, and we haven't gotten anywhere near that. I mean, it would have to be over $200,000 before I would even consider selling my Bitcoin. So let's say, I mean, you know, after the next round of QE, I'm a mega bull on Bitcoin. Let's say it gets up to $300,000, $400,000. There's going to be a massive rotation, and I think that's in play between now and 2028. Like I said, I'm a delayed bull. All right. Where was I going with that? I mean, let's say that's what happens. Is Bitcoin breaks to the upside. The more violent it breaks, the more people are going to, like me, are going to be willing to sell their Bitcoin. But I'm not selling any of my Bitcoin. I didn't even consider selling my Bitcoin at $110,000. Absolutely not. So we need Bitcoin to go really, really high. And then there's going to be people like me who will actually be willing to sell some. And where would I put it after that? Maybe I'd put it into some altcoins. Ooh, okay, I sold some when we got to 63% dominance to buy alts. Logically, that made sense, you know? Well, I guess, I don't know, never mind. We didn't get to, whatever. You know, 63% is a high number. I wouldn't have thought that we would have gotten to 63%. Yeah, Polkadot. Broke through bear market bottom support. We'll need to find a floor now, only good for shorting. So this is Polkadot's below its 2022 bear market bottom. No, 2020. It didn't even go that low in 2022. So 2023 bounced right off that level in 2024. Now it's below it. There is no floor for Polkadot. No floor. This thing can keep going lower. I am eager to find a good level to short. I mean, yesterday might have been that perfect level. This thing could go straight to zero. It really could. This is one that I have a lot of confidence in. Would not survive a bear market, like, you know, a recession. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, Dave. I'll get to Adam in a second. Okay, Adam. Not Adam of Adam and Eve fame. Wow. I need to look something up because this doesn't make sense to me. This is one of the stronger charts since February, but it's Adam. I'm going to go to coinmarketcap.com. I want to see how diluted Adam is. What's it ranked? I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Number 47, $1.6 billion market cap. All right, so what's the dilution? Oh, max supply is infinite. All right, let me see all time. So brace yourselves if you've never done this on coinmarketcap.com. All-time price chart, Adam got up to $44. And I'm going to click on this. And so what did it get up to in 2024? It got up to $14 in 2024. And I'm hoping right now that I'm going to click on market cap and that the market cap will have not hit a new all-time high. Let's see. Oh, okay. It got about halfway. That's interesting because Atom is pretty highly inflationary. Or I thought it was. I guess it's not as inflationary as I thought. All right, so that makes a little bit more sense as to why Atom would be holding up well. You can see like inverse head and shoulders here. Let me draw that out if I can. So inverse head and shoulders maybe. This one looks better than a lot of other ones, so shoulder. Yikes, that was a terrible drawing. Let me get another crack at that. In other conditions, I'd be more interested in longing Atom. This is not one of those conditions. About to throw thousands in Atoms. I wouldn't expect less. Mar, you're more of a degen than I am. I can respect that. Oh, okay, I didn't know about. All right, didn't they change the way Atom token works because the ecosystem has a new base token called Neutron? Maybe that's it. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm curious. Not touching it, but if I was an all-out bull right now, then yeah, you know what? I'd be throwing some money at Atom, making some gains. Huh. Well, good luck to everyone involved. Ethereum, the most depressing chart we will look at today. Mostly because it's number 2. $15.10 got as low as when it got under 1400. There's just no slowing this down. It's like even, I'm seeing now an accelerated downtrend. So I guess that previous downtrend wasn't good enough, and now it's got to be an even worse downtrend. That's insane. So Ethereum, once it breaks this downtrend, is going to have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Man, look at that. I think it's worth, it gets up to this trend line, it's worth opening a short even now. You want to scalp it, that's fine. That's wild. I want to look at Fartcoin real quick. This thing, oh my goodness. What is up with Fartcoin? Never sold your ETH. Do you think it's going to get worse? Still worth selling? Man, it's hard for me to say sell ETH at $1,500, but like, I think if you hold on to it, it's just going to continue to bleed. I haven't held ETH this entire cycle, aside from a little bit of ETH to hold on to for gas fees. Not that helps you, but it depends on how much you have. That's what I'll say. If it's like one of your biggest holdings, I would even now de-risk from that. So Fartcoin got up to the 236. All right, that's logarithmic. That's what it really looks like. Have I been doing... All right, that's regular. Oh, so I changed it to logarithmic just for Fartcoin. All right, anyway. I swear, man, I'm going to buy a lot of Fartcoin in the bear market. This thing has taken a place in our consciences as like when it's time to when there's any hope that the market is going to pump, buy Fartcoin. It's the default degen. There's something about this that it really does have legs. I also want you to know a strategy that I'm going to this is probably going to be a gamble. Just keep it on your radar. We're still several months out from this. If stupid deck screen, I have this super fast computer that I had built, and deck screener's still a pain in the ass. All right. Rismus. Remember Rismus. And I'm dead serious about this. Oh, beautiful. It's just super flat. So sometime, like let's say September, I'm probably going to buy $10,000 worth of Rismus. What did this get up to? I think it got up to 180 million. So I'm not holding this for 180 million, but what I'm telling you is that when Christmas comes, probably a little bit before Christmas, like Rismus peaked on November 28th. So let's say November, this thing will do something like a dead cat bounce. And I wouldn't be surprised if it did a 10x, got up to a $10 million market cap. Only problem, there'll be a new version in November that steals its thunder. Yeah, maybe. It'll do something. Even, and the reason why I'm saying that is, remember Santa Coin? I mean, this is a relic from, 3 years, 5 months old. This is my biggest regret from 2021. Because I got really excited about it, and I promoted it. Nobody paid me to promote it. I was just really excited about it. And so look at what happens every year with Santa Coin. It's hard to see. So, 2022, it was much, much lower than where it is, than where it got up to. Way lower. And then end of 2024 did a little bit of pump at the end of 2023. And then end of 2024 did a little bit of a pump. It's something. It's not everything, but it's something. What is that? That's from its bottom. Let me zoom in on this. All right, so August of 2024. This was 0.09, whatever. It did a 3x. This is just straight up dead. Did a 3x. So I put $10,000 into Rismus, which nobody uses, barely anyone uses the Binance Smart Chain anymore. People will use Solana still at the end of this year. Put $10,000 into Rismus. Could I turn it into 20,000? Could I turn it into 30,000? And then even, that this is year 4 for Rismus, or for Santa Coin. Year 2, it did what? It did 7x. Let's not count that. That looks like a scam wick. It did almost a 10x. So just keep that on your radar. All right, let's get back to regularly scheduled program. I always struggle to say regularly. 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 Internet computer. How low can you go? Oh, wait, sorry. 998. Top 50 altcoins generally would you hold or just sell at a loss or gain? It doesn't matter. I would sell. I would sell on a pump up to the mid 80s for Bitcoin. That's my hopeful exit on the altcoins that I still have. And if I'm wrong, Bitcoin gets up above 91 and hangs out there for a while, that's when I'd be more interested in buying. So it's a window. It's an exit window. You know, if we get to 84, I sell whatever I have left, or maybe win alt season, Jamil. Maybe if I'm wrong, we get above 90. I'll be more interested. I mean, really, here's what I did. I've sold most of my crypto and I'm just trading it. I'm just in a trading portfolio. I'm longing, I'm shorting, and I have only shorts open right now. So I may not even buy any altcoins for the remainder of this year, or maybe like next several months at least, and just continue to trade. Because what was killing me was like, you know, I'd be winning on some trades, but then I'd be looking at my Bitmart or BingX portfolio and it would still be going down because the altcoins that I was holding, they were going down. So now, you know, at least in Bitmart, I don't own any altcoins. I have some Bitcoin in there. And a day like today, I see my portfolio go up because my shorts are in profit. That sounds good to me. All right, Cardano and Link. I just don't have a mindset for trading. It's all about mindset. It's 99%. It's 90% mindset and 10% technicals. So if you're being honest with yourself about that, fine, good. Cardano, Nita. I already did say about Cardano. You know, I have like $300 of Cardano staking on Coinbase. I'm being lazy. I'm just not even removing it. I'm just gonna keep it staking. It's been staking for years in Coinbase. I'm looking to short Cardano. That's my response, Nita. I'm looking to short Cardano. I think you know, we had this SR flip. This was a huge level of support at 67 cents. That's where I'd be looking to short it. Chainlink. Yeah, Dave, if you don't have the mindset for it, you're honest with yourself, then go for it. Chainlink, man, it didn't even get up to its previous SR flip yesterday on that Trump pump. So now what? I mean, I would still settle limit order on Chainlink at 13.18, something like that. But, you know, hopefully, I would hope if Bitcoin got up to 84,000, then I could see that. I could see Chainlink getting up to 13.18. So that's my mindset on Chainlink. But next stop for Chainlink on the way down is 952. Maybe I'd be interested in buying some at 952. So you are bearish until when, bro? What news do you have to hear? It's never been about the news, Foregone. It's about the charts. So let me show you again. At the very least. I want to see a higher high on the total too. And then, all right, am I 100%? All right, let me back up on that. We have QE. I'll be a lot more bullish. I'll be a moon boy. We just get straight up QE. But rates, what's his name? Is it Greens? I think it's Greenspan who said this. Quantitative easing only really works during when rates are at or near 0%, and we're at 4 something percent right now. So, all right, ICP even now is a great crypto to short. But when it's just not really giving us any opportunities. It gave us an opportunity on March 26th, and ever since then, nah. Any divergences? Nope. Oh man, at least give us a bullish divergence. All right. I would short more than long at this point, foregone. All right. Same as 2 days ago. My comment on April 8th was short every pump. Hopefully the market will give one soon. And then the market gave one yesterday. Let's take a look at Jasmy. I really like trading Jasmy. It's just, it goes level to level really well, but not many more levels below this next one. We lose 0.8 of a cent on Jasmy. We're probably going back down to the bear market bottom, which is 0.003. And, I don't really see, oh man, should I be, I'm in a short on this right now. I'm up on that short. Seeing a little bit of strength lately on the volume the last few days. I bet 4 hour looks bullish. Yeah, 4 hour does look pretty bullish. But still. Thank you, SD5292. This one actually does look kind of bullish, man. I've given up hope. I bought Jasmy at 0.12 thinking it was going to hold. And then I just have a hard time thinking that it's going to be able to break through this level of support that it lost. Now it's resistance. What is that, 0.1228? It's a good level for a short. If it gets up there. Are you selling anything right now from your spot? I wouldn't sell. I probably wouldn't sell right at this moment. My target is 84,000 for Bitcoin. I'm probably going to be selling some altcoins then. I did sell. Let me be clear. I did sell some. But because I'm focused on trading right now. And I like the idea of having full control instead of like buying spot and holding it and just continuing to hold it as the market bleeds. I like having full control and being able to monitor if I'm winning or losing on a given day. So Let's look at Litecoin. What time is it? I have a little bit of time left. Litecoin looks bullish on the man. Another one that looks bullish on the 4 hour. There's some hope for short-term gains at least. All right. Before I, no divergences though. Let me look at the daily. It's another one. It's another crypto that I would love it if it continued, if this 4 hour bullishness continued. It's giving me some like I would not short a crypto that's bullish on the 4 hour, but I just have a feeling that what comes next is a move up to like, this level here, double resistance at the trend line and at 80.7, and that it's going to get rejected and then put in a new low. But there's no denying right now at this moment, it looks bullish. I'm setting a limit order to short Litecoin at $80, $80.70. Yeah, Pendle. So Pendle, Pendle actually has been looking pretty strong for quite a while. This is one. Foregone. I'm not longing. I'm sticking to the rules of not longing. I've done well with my shorts and not as well with my longs. I'm gonna just stick with shorting. So Pendle, amazingly, it's one of the most bullish cryptos. Even like so on the 4 hour, it looks super bullish. On the daily, it looks really bullish. It just looks good. Let's call this a scam wick. Monday, April 7th, after that big dump on the weekend. Let's not even count that. Now, looking at Pendle, you should not be surprised, I don't think, that where I opened a short. I opened a short at $3.38. And look at where it got rejected the last 2 days. I'm tempted right now to take some off the table on this short, given how bullish this chart looks on the daily, on the 4 hour. On the daily, there's a lot of room to go higher on stochastic. If it does break through 338, that's going to be a good sign for Pendle. Even if the rest, like as long as the rest of the market just doesn't collapse. So Pendle's one of the stronger ones. Sure thing. Let's look at Quant. That was actually perfect timing with Pendle because I was done with Litecoin, and then the next one alphabetically is Quant. Right between that, Pendle, Quant. So I wouldn't say this looks all that bullish on the 4 hour, aside from maybe you got an Adam and Eve double bottom there. But other than that, maybe it's forming a higher low right now, but still resistance. Just same deal as so many other cryptos. It's just got resistance. Volume's not bad for quant, but I still wouldn't touch it unless I wanted to short it. So I am going to pay attention to that volume though. I have no idea who Stargate Adventures guy is. No idea. All right, so my notes on quant. Still worth shorting every pump, maybe all the way down to $40.49. And then, but the thing I say is pay attention to volume though. Has he increased the China tariffs again? I heard it's 140% now instead of 125. Wild. What a wild time we live in. I'm not entirely opposed to that. I need to be careful saying this on TikTok, but China, man. We'll see. So Solana. This green line here, let me zoom out. This is a key level, and it is not a good sign that we've lost it. So what are we looking at here? We're looking just at a major, I mean, we're talking since 2022. Bottomed out in 2022. Major trend line. You broke through that, was mega bullish. We broke through that trend line. We got rejected at the trend line in July, went down, got rejected barely in October, went down a little bit, broke through. When we broke through, it was off. It was off to the races. And then we revisit that trend line. Bounced off it perfectly on March 10th. Had a nice little bounce. Now, it's another reason why I'm not confident that we're going to reverse from this. Now it's like losing a trend line that started in December 2022. And so now I fear with Solana that look at how aggressively Solana pumped when we broke this trend line to the upside. It would, stupid, just lock the fibs when you make them, Alex. And then it would make sense to me that for the next several months, we're going to break, we broke the trend line to the downside, that we're going to go down very aggressively with Solana, which is why I'm in a short on Solana right now. And I'm hoping to keep it open, that it's ride or die with this short. And I want to keep on adding to it on any pump. And yesterday it looked like, maybe we're going to break through. I set a limit order on a short at 126, but nah. I'm just going to say it should be shorted aggressively. All right, next we have Sui. This was, man, it didn't even pump all that much. This was the other crypto along with BNB that a couple days ago I said looked good. If I were to long it, I would want to long given how well it held this liquidity zone here. But man, I mean, given the fact that so many other cryptos have lost those same liquidity zones, like Bitcoin Cash, I think it's inevitable that Sui's going to lose it. But if you opened along 2 days ago, you did well. I can't really take all that much credit for that. I was optimistic after listening to your boyski last night, not so much now. Are there reasons for optimism? I would point to M2. I wouldn't point to much else. M2 forward looking has been climbing to a point where if Bitcoin is perfectly correlated to M2, it's going to go up to 135,000, something like that. But I made a case in a video that it has been very well correlated recently, but there's been plenty of times where M2 climbed and Bitcoin didn't. I don't know what to say. Devin, it's going to be an interesting live stream tomorrow because I am a straight up bear. I'm not a crab, I'm a bear. And I think there's a lot of evidence to point to we're going down further. And especially today. So yesterday, everything pumped, and I could see Devin getting on a live stream. Maybe I would have been the same way and been like, "Hey, all right, to the moon." Today, everything dumped, and I was suspicious. I was thinking maybe this was going to happen. You seemed to think you were super bullish. It's hard for me when he's sitting there when we're live and he's talking about like, oh yeah, this looks bottom, this is bullish. And I don't want to disagree with him like literally every time he talks. I was bullish last week when the stock market dumped and Bitcoin held. But then Sunday, I was bullish short term. But what I was leaning towards was a move to a lower high, not new all-time highs at that time. So, like can we get up to the 80s again for Bitcoin? I think so. But I am not a bull right now. Would you consider taking a little bit out if you had more than 50% in? Yeah, I would. Yep. So, thinking about, oh, Joshua Jake, no way. There's no way. I really think a lot of people, so comment, hear ya, Joshua Jake was like bottoms in last night and 250K by November still on the table. I don't know how these guys are going to be able to save face. The ones who, all right, they called for 2025 to be this super bullish year. and it didn't start out bullish, but they're still holding out hope that the end of 2025 will be really bullish. And I really think it's more of a thing like they can't envision for like what happens with their careers if Bitcoin goes down, you know, if the rest of the year is just bearish, and then I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them just threw in the towel and then we pumped, which is what I think is going to happen. Like I think what's coming next is going to make people quit crypto forever. Hard to see that. Feels like hopium. Yeah. I hope people don't listen. Where do you run? I'm with you listening to a different perspective, but man, it's a 180 from what should happen. Should happen. Yeah, you know, you want to say should happen. If you're talking 4-year cycles, yes. But again, I've been warning about this for over a year now. This time is different. Monetary conditions are the exact opposite of what we would hope for risk on activity. So I would say what's happening now is what should have happened. Let's see. I think as much as we might not blame Trump for this drop, but I would argue with how much he is willing to encourage a dump to the markets is going to spook a lot of funds into de-risking. I'm just going to say no comment. Yeah, he'll get a lot of blame if the stock market continues to go down, but I don't think he should. Tron is insane. Nothing's changed. What is up with Tron? What is this? All right, I'm going to skip Tron. V-Chain, just climbing the ladder down. Where's that bear market bottom? Yeah, 0.13. Just seems like it's on its way to its bear market bottom. My last note on May 8th or on April 8th was one of a handful that I would consider buying, but I'm not going to. Should lose support and make its way back to its bear market bottom. Those are my notes. XLM and XRP, and then I'm going to be done with this live stream. Maybe some hope that it's going to hold its 236. But I'm not touching it. Swing high 236. I don't know why I drew this. That's not accurate at all. Maybe I moved it by accident and didn't notice. Let's try to fix that. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, it just keeps getting rejected. I might short this pretty soon. Last but not least, XRP. Well, it's above the 200-day at least. This just looks like distribution. I know what Devin is saying. Like, I know he's saying that this is the spring in Wyckoff reaccumulation. Maybe he's right, but I mean, so many other cryptos, this is not the case at all. We got something forming here. Just really tightly holding on to that. I mean, this is pretty much the same thing as XLM. It's going to do one of two things. And I'm sorry to say, it could go up, could go down. It's either gonna just dump really hard from here, and maybe find some support at $1.34, maybe hold $1.50, something like that. Or it'll break out and then back test, and maybe we'll move higher on it with the rest of the market. But my money's on losing that 200-day support very convincingly. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, this weekend or early next week, the XRP lost its 200-day pretty aggressively. I agreed with Wyckoff in 2024 on the weekly. Don't see Wyckoff on the weekly at the moment for Bitcoin. If we are in, it is the early stages that Devin thinks. If we are, it is in the early stages that Devin thinks. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, so maybe. I think I see what you're saying. Bollinger Bands are so ugly, but they're so important. So maybe this was distribution this entire time. That seems likely to me. Distribution. And so perhaps, all right, let's end this on some hope. Perhaps this is the early stages of accumulation. Let's pull up Wyckoff accumulation. All right, so I mean, we would be, if this is Wyckoff accumulation for Bitcoin, what happened earlier this week would be, ST in phase B. It would be this right here. So you can see that. There's ST. Let's go back to that. Let me just be kind of ghetto here. And oh man, never mind. Actually, here we go. So we've got ST, that's ST. There's, SC. And then ST in phase B. So then if that's the case, so let's say 74 and change was ST in phase B. We go up a little bit from here. How high would we go if that was the case? Like 80, 86, something like that. Got up to 88. Yeah, 86 or so would be the next climb, next move up here. And then the spring would probably be a back test of the, maybe ST on the weekly. Okay. Of the previous all-time high, the March 2024 all-time high. And then we'd grind our way up, sign of strength, and then boom. Hey, there's a way to end this live stream, hopefully. Yeah, spring would be the bottom, the top of the 2024 range, right? Not the bottom. Oh, 55 to 60. Yeah, maybe that makes sense. Yeah. You know, I mean, most people believe that the bottom for whatever this is going to be between $55,000 and $60,000, 50 and 60,000, something like that. So maybe that's what we have ahead of us. Maybe, you know, I would say that's best case scenario. And that we still have, and if that's the case, that'll take all of May, June, July. Maybe we'd start seeing some signs of life in September, October. We'll see. Under that scenario, FYI, altcoins are going to get murdered. That would line up if we got QE in like July or August. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I am more of a mindset that we'll see QE in 2026. But I hope you're right. If we move up 20%, I'm out. I don't think that's a terrible idea. Well, okay. I've been live for a while. I got some stuff to do. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.